You might want to know if a small trailer like the TAXA TigerMoth will work for you. Well, I'm 6'4", well over 200 pounds, and I can make a pretty solid case for how I could find fun with a trailer just like this. So stay tuned, we're going to check out the TAXA TigerMoth. Now I get it. You might not be into the smaller format of trailers because it might not have all the amenities that you're used to, but imagine how nimble one of these things can be. You can fit it all kinds of places, on kinds of dirt roads and trails, but also you can fit it in your garage because this thing stands only at 6'8", and the entry to a standard American garage is 7 foot. Now, obviously you could put things on the rack to make it a little bit taller, and we'll discuss that a little bit later. But first, let's check out the inside of this TAXA TigerMoth. Here we are inside the TAXA TigerMoth, and let me just remind you, I am 6'4", so if I sit at my straightest, I do need to be on this side because it has a natural slant to the roofline. That makes it fairly aerodynamic, fairly compact. So maybe I would line up my kids, boop, 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 in height order next to me. But I see this as a perfect rig for solo travel or for couple camping, as much the same way as I do with a tent, but way sturdier, way more protection, way more comfortable, easier to set up, get there, enjoy, and go. So that would be my use case and why I think the TAXA products are so fantastic. Again, you can fit this in your garage and tow it with a lightweight vehicle. So I won't remember all the specs, whether it be the height, the length, the weights, the capacities. So do check out the figures down in the comment section, not the video description down below. And I'll try to make sure to have just as much information there as I can. So back to this. This space does work very well for me, and it is comfortable in many ways, so I'm gonna go through it. First off, I do have a table. Again, if you are solo camping or if you are couple camping, this might be just enough, and it is very configurable. First off, the top is movable in the way you might want it to be, and this whole post comes out. So there's a release right here. And let me get my hand in a better leverage position. Comes right off. And then down below, there's a button right at the bottom. So I'm gonna unclick it, and that, you can hear it ratchet. Okay, so I'm gonna hold that down, and that comes out nice and lightweight. And you could store this underneath or just elsewhere. And you'll notice that this is really nice space. I like looking at this area as a place, if I were solo camping, I would probably just leave this set up as is. This would be my sleeping side. I could store stuff on the other side. This floor is nice and rugged and easy to clean. And in a little bit, I'll show you how I can get even more depth. Let's say if you want to bring a small kayak or maybe a boat or something like that, maybe snowboards or skis, fishing poles, lots of options, which makes perfect sense for solo and couple camping. Now, as I look around in here, I will notice that all of the CNC cut structure is put together in such a very, you can't call it elegant, but it looks really good. It has a nice powder coat to it. It feels good. It is just really sharp looking. And the fact that it's exposed, you can see so much about the integrity of this product. It's also very easy to clean. All the surfaces, super easy to clean. So if you're using your jet boil on that table there, and it just kind of boils up or explodes or what have you, not too bad of an issue. Let's look around a little bit more. You'll find cut into every one of these members are just little notions, little tie down points for all kinds of hanging goods. In front of me, behind me, over me, you have the fire extinguisher here. Right above me, near this back entrance, are 4 switches, and the first one will be a light switch that is over your outside kitchen, right over here. I'll show it to you in a little bit. This switch here, and it's a bright day, so you're not gonna see much. This switch runs this LED switch here, which will fill this cabin with a white light. There are 2 more light switches, and they are actually back further in the cabin near the headboard and the air conditioner unit. This one will be a white light and this one will be a red light. And so the red light, the idea is that it's not so bright and it doesn't have as much blue light in it. So at night you see what you need to, but you don't have such a waking up light. Blue light is associated with vigor and energizing and waking up. You don't need that when you're actually just trying to see something real quick and go back to sleep. And there's another idea that the white lights and blue lights might attract more bugs. Don't need that as well. Okay, this cushion here is pretty firm. I would say you're going to get lots of years of use out of it. It does become your mattress as well. So if I am solo camping, let me go ahead and move that table over a little bit. I'm going to show you what a 6'4" fairly large human looks like in this space in solo camping mode. It does fit rather well and it is firm enough for me and my bad back. Here we go. Okay, feet currently are at the end of the pad and my head has about 2 inches above. So I'm doing all right in this position. Here in a minute, I'll show you how to turn this whole space into the bed. So if you wanted to go more like corner to corner or to bring a friend or a significant other, you have space to do so. Let me go ahead and have you come around and I'm going to show you how to get more stuff, more gear in this space towards the front of the trailer. So come on around. So you've made your way around and you have a good angle at seeing these spots, this area back here. So I'll go over all the stuff in the back in just a moment. But let's say you did bring that bike or that kayak and you just needed to be able to slide it in and to go. They have lots of, like I said, all these hanging points. I'm going to go ahead and use this carabiner that is back here and I'm going to run a toggle through it real quick. And that should hold it up for the time being. And there you go. You can see the birch cabinetry all the way around. So it's CNC cut and put together in such a way that it's very minimalistic, simple, and yet rugged and good. It's a lot of good adjectives I want to throw at it, but let's go on. You can also lift this section here. Now, you can use it to access more storage underneath. I would put bins or something like that. They're easy to grab things out of and also keep things organized. But other than that, you see more of this CNC metal. You have little notions. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it here, but there's a TigerMoth actually etched in, and you'll find etched in TigerMoths all over, inside and out. It's a neat thing that they thought of to do. Behind this panel is actually a spot for 2 batteries. Right now it's your standard marine RV battery, but you could certainly put in an AGM or a lithium ion and be ready to roll. Easy access, just little thumb screws, pull that panel off and they are all right there. We have some B-roll for you to see that. Let me bring this back down and let's talk about some of the other things on this back wall. I'm going to scoot back. Now you do notice I'm ducking a little bit more the further back. I'm going to show you this side. We have on the headboard some cubbies. They're about 5 to 6 inches in depth and they're probably about 5 to 6 inches in height as well. But they do have a divider there. So there you go. Now I'm going to rotate and you have a dual pane window. These things are fantastic. They are, like I said, dual pane. They're kind of a plastic or acrylic. So you have a cushion of air, a layer of air between them, gives you some thermal value. You have a bug screen on that window, and you have a blackout shade. There are 2 more windows on this unit like this, and I'm going to show you a latching thing about those on the more accessible windows. This one can be latched the same way. It's just easier to shoot otherwise. You have a 5K air conditioner, and we'll show you the cover that it has on it on the outside, but it is easily more than enough air conditioner for this size trailer. So even in some really hot climates, they're air conditioner, so long as you have shore power or generator, something along those lines to power it, you are in really good shape on that front. You have USB ports. You have 2 of them right here. They're USB-A style plugs. The top one is 5 volts at 1 amp, so a slower charge. The bottom one is 5 volts at 2.1 amp, so you would think of it as a quick charge. A standard bullet style or cigarette style 12 volt plug there, a voltage meter, and then your converter, which converts the shore power into 12 volt, charges the battery. It also sends power throughout the unit. You have breakers for the 110 or 120 and fuses for the 12 volt. On this side over here, your battery shutoff switch for storage situations, and then a few plugs here for your 110, 120 style stuff. Again, I can't get over how easy it is to understand this and how nice this is. And you know, I know I'm crouching in the shot, but I just am not worried about it. I'm so used to it with my standard tent camping stuff, and I would be sitting over there if I'm sitting. Back here deeper, I'm not here long, or I'm probably turning in for the night, so I'm going to be laying down. So it's really quite a thing. I really like it. I'm going to scoot forward a little bit and show you how to easily bring this bed out. So I will store this maybe somewhere else, but for now, let me just put it down here. Okay, coming out. Now there is a strap right here that is Velcroed in for travel. I'm going to undo that strap. You will want to redo that before you travel. And then, watch how easy this is. This is not heavy at all, but it is very sturdy. As I pull that out, it's all the way to here, fold this other mat down, and there we go. Now, it is a rather large sleeping space. I wanted to get those toggles tucked down. Now I'm going to crawl in. As embarrassing and uncomfortable as this may be for both of us, let's see the space in here. Okay, I'm going to go corner to corner, and it's really quite nice. Okay, side to side, let's say we have someone over here, about an inch or so above me, feet at the bottom. It would work very well. And those lights, once again, for reading or just accessing stuff right there. Above me, I do have an exhaust fan just to make sure the air can move around. If I open these windows, which I'll show you in a minute, and I have this, I just push that up and it's running. Lots of air movement, and I have another detector right here. So you're covered on the carbon monoxide and on the carbon dioxide, and you have smoke. I might have covered too many oxides, but either way, you're covered from a safety standpoint, especially with this easily accessible fire extinguisher. How about we go outside and take a look at more things out there? We are now back outside, and yet it's kind of like being inside because this trailer is so open. That's one of the things I love about this trailer, is it strikes me as pretty much perfect for sitting by a stream, a river, a lake, a beach, or something like that, because you have a built-in porch. Now, this does come with a screen room for the Thule awning that's off the back. I'm not sure that all of them come with that, but this one does, so you can screen it in and get more enclosed space. It's pretty cool. Let me show you how nice these wall panels are. They are very thick, and they make sure that they don't skimp on the seals. Again, more of the CNC cut metal. If you're shorter than me and need help, I don't know, you'd have to be pretty short. Either way, you can use that to pull it down. It is not difficult, even though it has strong struts, and it is movable. Maybe you want it placed elsewhere. I'm going to close this, and then I'm going to talk about this window and just look at how, or listen to how solid this is. Okay, you saw this window bounce because I had it unlatched. I wanted to show you its function from the outside in better light, but usually it is super solid because it's latched shut. I'm going to lift it up, and its function is very simple. Again, it is dual pane, and at whatever height you want it to be at, you just tighten these little knobs and it holds it. A few things about this: it's tinted from the sun, it is a thermal window, it's fairly impact resistant, and If you have some precipitation coming down, maybe not a hard wind where it's blowing in sideways, but you have some precipitation coming down, because it opens up awning style, it allows you to have almost as much airflow as you want and still not get rain in. Obviously a side breeze will maybe splash a little bit in. Another thing that you might notice is every one of these windows has that screen, that blackout shade. You can connect them and get a certain amount of breeze and shade at the same time. And you can, if you really need it, only a slight gap, these notches that these handles, these latches go into or over, they have a little kind of a halfway notch. And if you put these handles in that halfway notch, then it looks closed. It is so close to closed, but it isn't. There's a small gap for air right there. Now, that allows it to be somewhat closed, and yet you still have airflow if you need it to. If you turn on that fan maybe as an exhaust fan, just to keep air moving through when you need it to, you know, just be comfortable in there. So I would caution you, for travel, you will want to make sure that this is not in that halfway gap. It is fully closed, because that really tightens it up and compresses those seals and keeps air from getting underneath while you're traveling and causing issues, maybe pulling on this window while you're en route. Now, while I'm here, you'll notice the large off-road tires, steel rims. They're just kind of a no-brainer if you're going to be hitting more rough terrain. You do have this Thule rack. It is adjustable, and I've seen everything from kayaks and boats to rooftop tents on these, and they do a good job of handling those items. You have a rack on the front, and it is rated right here, weight limit, no more than 200 pounds, evenly distributed load. If you're able to see the top, it has little cutouts like a molly panel, so you are in a good situation there. Coming around, we have a really great kind of storage area for bins, maybe some jerry cans, and again, you have notches to tie down all kinds of things right here on the front behind the tongue box. It is again finished out and more TigerMoths cut in. This is the back vent for your battery compartment on the inside, and this is your air conditioner. You'll notice it has a travel cover, and if you're going to use it, you want to pull that off. This tongue box is very sturdy, has a good latch on it, and it is lockable. Really like that. Right now it has just a few things like this adapter, because this is a rather small trailer. The electrical equipment on it is a pretty small load. So you can use a standard household outlet, and this will adapt it for that 30 amp input, and you'll be in a good way. Has a strut to help you lift it, not that it's heavy, but to keep it open, perhaps in a tight, stiff breeze. There we go. 2-inch ball, standard wheel or tongue jack with a wheel, and then the exact same tire and wheel that you have on the trailer itself, you have here as a spare. Now, there is another option that is not on this trailer. It's their overland option. What you'll find that is different between the two is primarily a 360 style hitch on the front that gives you more articulation than a standard 2-inch ball. In most of my family's travels, we have never needed more articulation than the standard 2-inch ball. However, your travels may be a little bit more rambunctious than mine, in which case, look for that overland package. Another thing that the overland package gets you is a different suspension. This trailer has a torsion axle, which I have benefited from and used extensively on quite a few trailers, and it effectively operates a lot like a true independent suspension. But if you want really just a real nice upgrade independent suspension, then the overland package has the axle-less suspension system, and you might want to look into it because you get a little bit more ground clearance, a little bit more articulation, and it just is really a nice ride. Let's keep going. 30 amp input. You have a solar plug. So if you want to park in the shade and put a folding solar panel or an array of solar panels out, that is easily done right there. And then you'll notice that everything is just solid, super solid all the way around. Now I'm going to come around to the back because this is another area that is super nice about the TAXA TigerMoth is the back area. Not only did you see that door that opens it up to make it feel nice, but you have a kitchen hidden right here. Pretty much all that you need for a standard camp kitchen. So let's take a look. Back around on the other side. That first light switch on the inside there operates this light above the kitchen. So if you're needing to rummage around or cook a late night meal, that's the light that will come on. You have more tie down points right here. You have a jerry can for fresh water with the downspout here. And I wonder if that aligns with anything in your pull-out kitchen. Again, look at this beautiful birch. And this is more than I've arrived at a campsite with many times. So let's go through it. First off, look at, again, thick, solid built, really nice, kind of pliable seals that just, I mean, it's just a great scenario. I'm going to move these toggles off and move a few things around. Again, this is set up here at the dealership, so it's not really set up for camping. This becomes a prep space. Underneath, I'm going to pull out this stove that it comes with it. So take a look at that stove. And inside, it has a small grid so you can configure compartments. Now the thing is, this grid can be modified in multiple ways, so you can basically tailor it to fit exactly, let me put it in, exactly the way you need your cooking elements, maybe some of your dry goods to sit. So I told you that this is a prep table. Well, it is. Look at that. Very solid. Let's see if I can line it up without being on the side I'm usually on. And there you go. Prep table, access. And then over here, we have a sink, cutting board. This sink just fits right down in there, and it is a collapsible bucket with a drain. So you're really in a good spot there. You can use it here, or you can use it here and take it to dump it. You have lots of options, and that's one thing I really appreciate about a lot of TAXA products is there are many items in TAXA products that are kind of no-brainer, and they have multiple purposes. So look for that. If I were traveling, I would actually look in here and go, there's actually some more airspace at the bottom of this. Either I can collapse this and use it all as storage, or even around the perimeter, when it's in there, there's still, to me, more storage in there. Pretty good. Again, this jerry can has a spout right above the sink. So well thought there. It's on a very rugged carrier and easy to unstrap and refill. So I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to put this kitchen in, and then we'll wrap this up. So before we get on to our camping adventures, remember that you want this thing to be stable. You'll level it using the tongue jack and maybe put something under the low side wheel and drive up on it to make sure you get the side to side. So tongue jack for your front to back leveling, and then the wheels you'll drive up on the low side to get your left to right. And then you'll use the available stability jacks on both sides of the rear of the trailer. They are not meant for leveling. Please don't use them for that. Do notice that, again, another thick door with great pliable seal and one of those fantastic windows that is got a shade and bug screen and whatnot. I'm going to close that door. Again, I can't get over how simple, clean, campable, and solid everything is on the TAXA products. They can go so many places. They tow so easily. They generally are quite short. Most of the TAXA products, prior to setting rooftop tents and things on them, can fit in a standard garage. I don't know if that's just one of the markers that they always aim for in their products so far, but it sure makes it easy for so many of us who have small tow vehicles and don't really want to pay for storage on some other person's property. So if you would like to solo camp, couple camp, put a roof tent on top and maybe bring some kids. If you would like to hit some places that are a little bit more remote and might need you to be a little bit more nimble, I do encourage you to check out the TAXA Outdoor products. They call these mobile habitats. They set themselves apart, they engineer differently, they build them differently, and they are a pretty special option in the RV market. I'm Clint from Princess Craft RV. It has been a pleasure showing you this TAXA TigerMoth, and we will see you next time.